Welcome to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You can follow us on Facebook at Freeform Network, on X at FFR Podcast, and send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. We're all back together on Freeform Radio. We got Danny.
Yes, sir. Running a little late, but got in just in time.
Awesome. And then we got Noel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us again.
It's all good, Andy. We're all back together for another episode. We're going through the summer. We're going to get in those dog days of summers in August. And next thing you know, fall's going to be around the corner. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. But let's dive into it, because we're still in summer. And looks like Danny's been grilling some stuff on his grill. I see here he grilled the pub burger. It's the ones I'm thinking is those big ones. Did you cook it all the way through, Danny, or what happened, man?
Well, actually, I bought them, but I have yet to cook them. I've never cooked pub burgers. Usually, the biggest burgers I've ever cooked are like those Costco Sam's. I'm sure you've had them, right, Andy? I'm not sure about you, Noel. Have you ever had those like Sam's Club, Costco Members Mark burgers?
Yeah, I've tried a few of those before.
Yeah, those are a little on the beefy, thicker side, but pub burgers are like twice as stacked, and I've never cooked a burger that fat before. So this is gonna be my first time because Jewel had a special. They were like 99 cents a pub burger. So I'm like, what the hell? Let me try this thing. I've never cooked them, so hopefully everything goes well. I know you cook them on a regular basis, Andy. That's like your go-to burger. What's the technique? Even though that first time that you had me over for some pub burgers, it didn't go quite well, but I'm certain that your technique has gotten better over the years.
Yeah, so it depends how you like them. I know it's like a lot of ground beef. So it's like half a pound, if I remember correctly, of those pub burgers. So the thing is, you gotta, depends how you like them. I know a lot of people in my family and my in-laws, they like their burgers like well done. So it takes a little bit of time. And what happens with those pub burgers, they get dry. But if you like them medium well or even medium, they're really juicy and it doesn't take so long. But yeah, you got to get that high heat and then cook them, and then until that side gets bloody, then you flip it, and then you try to put them on like low and slow. Again, it all depends how you like it. So it is a learning process. And it all depends on how who you're grilling for likes them.
Right. How
if
they
you watch
like
a
them.
lot of videos, a lot of people like them medium when it's ground beef. So it's like really juicy and all this shit. But if you like them well done, those big burgers are still good, but they're a little bit on the dry side.
Yeah, to me, I like it on the medium well, maybe if anything, but I do like the middle juicy,
pink,
even a little pink is good.
Yeah.
My wife even likes it even medium or even medium rare. So yeah, usually my go-to is I go hot sear.
Mm-hmm.
So I hot sear one side and I leave it on there until I see the bubbles of blood start coming up. And then that's when I'm like, all right, that one side is seared really nice. I flip it over. I do the same for the other side. I let it just chill there. I don't touch it. I don't squeeze it. I think that's one big mistake from people. They like to smash down on the burgers and kind of get those juices to get the flame to go. I don't touch it. I just let it chill. And I do the same thing. I let the blood kind of start curling up on the opposite side of the patty. And as soon as that happens, boom, the burger's done, man. You take it out, you put it on top of a bun, you let it rest for like a second, put a slice of cheese on it. And the middle is like perfect, man. It's like nice and juicy. It's not dried out. But that's what the usual patty with these pub burgers. I'm kind of scared. I don't know if
sometimes get premium bread like a pretzel bun or name brand, and it really enhances the burger. And if you use like I know there's like burger sauces now, like the McDonald's and some other
McDonald's
stuff.
sauce, right?
Yeah, that's I dig that. And Because usually if I'm just grilling basic burgers, just mustard, cheese, and I might throw a pickle in there. That's about it, and I'm good to go. But if I'm
Yeah.
doing something fancy, then yeah, you want lettuce, tomato, and all this stuff like my wife. Yeah, you then get the go all out, get the fancy bread, the whole works.
Nah, I don't usually. I probably get something in the middle where I do put cheese. I put usually mustard, but I'll grill out some onions. So I'll grill some onions, but no tomatoes and stuff like that. I think that's a little too much. And lettuce, it depends if I'm in the mood, but usually it's grilled onions, cheese, mustard, and I'm good to go. And it's a good burger just like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to everybody and see how it goes. But my plan is hard sear, just like I usually do. So come in hot, sear it, wait for the bubbles, flip it, sear the opposite side. Then I'm planning to move it to the low side. So I'm gonna have
Yes.
one side hot, one side low. After I get the sear on both sides, I'm planning to move it to the low side and just let it chill there for like maybe 2 3 minutes with the lid closed, and then after that's done, open up the lid, take it out, and hope for the best. Hopefully I didn't dry it out too much. But yeah, I'm a little worried about the middle. We'll see how it comes out, but it is super exciting. um, I usually get a little worried about stuff like chicken and thick burgers like this, but it's exciting to try something new. You know, any success in doing bigger burgers or?
Yeah, actually, I don't like to make them too thick because then it just takes longer and you run the risk of drying it out, but or either getting it undercooked, one or the other. But that's why I bought one of these thermometers. I highly recommend you guys get one of these.
I got
Um,
one. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you just put it, in the meat and see what the temperature is, and if it's at 165, that's good for chicken. That's good for ground beef as well. Steaks you can get away with less. I think it's like 130 something for
Yeah.
like, it depends on what you want, rare, whatever it is.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, I definitely do mess with those burgers. Question for you guys: have you guys ever put peppers into it, like jalapeno or something?
Oh, like into the patty itself?
Hmm.
Oh no, well these patties they came formed from Jewel. I'm sure
Okay.
since it's ground beef and it's it's usually like chuck and I forget what else that they mix in. Um, I'm sure I could break it apart and kind of throw some stuff inside of it, some cheese, some onions, some peppers. But I don't know. Maybe that'll be for the next go around, depending on how successful this first run goes. But I think you're right. I think I have a thermometer too. I don't like using it too much for burgers. I think once you puncture it, you could see like the juices flowing out of that puncture wound, kind of like you just like stab Jesus on the side and it's just pouring out. It's like, damn man, you just messed this thing up. So to
It's
me,
like
it's
the
like,
brats. Once
yeah,
they
yeah,
start
yeah,
popping, you don't want that because you're losing all that
exactly.
juiciness. Yeah.
Exactly. So to me, a steak, yeah, you could stab it if you're worried about it. Chicken, 100%, you stab that thing. A pork, same thing, you stab it. But I don't know, like a burger, I'm a little more reluctant to hit it or a brat, like Andy was saying. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Next thing, kind of related to that, man, the garden, man. My garden, I gotta say, it is rocking. This year has been an awesome yield. We already had a ton of tomatoes come out, a ton of cucumbers come out. Alana, actually, we had so many tomatoes, she made a pasta sauce yesterday. And then we had some cheese stuffed tortellinis with some of the pasta
Ooh.
sauce that she made. And man, with some chicken, some grilled chicken on top. Oh man, that thing was fire. It was really, really good. So yeah, man, the garden has been very, very a lot of yield out of it. And really, other than just my typical normal thing of putting some compost, putting at the start of the year like a layer of compost, a layer of new dirt, and then just kind of like mixing around the dirt a little bit so that it's evenly distributed. And yeah, man, these plants, we water them every day because we got a rain barrel. So luckily this year has not been too dry. We've been able to get by with the rain that we've captured, and very rarely have we had to use our garden hose. The other thing that we do that I don't know if a lot of people do, but we capture our condensation water that comes out of the AC unit. So we also use that for watering our plants. And that thing right now with during these hot days, man, that thing is kicking out humidity water left and right. I mean, that bucket, I have to go drain it out like every 3 days, I would say, and it's full. It fills up from the water coming off of the AC unit. So yeah, we've been recouping that, and it's been awesome, man. These plants every day give it some water, and man, they're producing and they're keeping us fed and hungry, or fed and happy. Um, hey, do you got a garden this year, Andy? I can't remember if you said you did any.
Nah, we didn't. It's my wife was the one that was the green thumb. I do miss the tomatoes. I'm not gonna lie. She the last couple times at the old house, there was a shitload of tomatoes coming out, and we had salsas and pastas galore, like pasta sauce and this salsa and all that. But
Right.
since we moved to the new house, she's doing some gardening, like flowers and stuff with her dad, but that's about it. She's not planting any food or squash or tomatoes or anything like that this year, and she hasn't
Yeah.
done it in a couple years.
Yeah. This is your second year at the house or your first full year?
Yeah,
Or?
we have one full year here.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe for next year, maybe now that you're kind of settled into the house, maybe you got some gardening going. But you know, you don't do any gardening other than what my parents do. I know they do enough for everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. They take up a lot of the space with the peppers and tomatoes and stuff. Um,
Yeah, for
I have
sure.
gardened before, but yeah, I typically like to do my stuff indoors. I have a little setup in the basement for it, so you can like grow plants in the winter or whatever.
Heck yeah, man. Grow that puff puff, get some of that shit going. But but no, the garden, man, it's awesome. I'm super excited. The cucumbers, we've been snacking on that. When you got that late night craving, cut some of that up, throw some limon on that, man, throw some salt, and bam, man, you got yourself a snack there to last you until tomorrow morning, get that breakfast going. But yeah, man, the only other thing I wanted to bring up is Noel. I watched that movie that you were talking about, Until Dawn. It was on my list to watch before you even mentioned it, just because it's a PlayStation um, property. So I was like super excited, even though you were kind of like lukewarm on it and didn't really like it too much. I was excited that maybe you being a connoisseur of horror movies, that maybe it would still be good enough for me. But no, I gotta agree with you. This one was in rough shape. It wasn't the greatest. I was excited. I watched it. The presentation looked pretty good. Everything about the film and everything put together, that looked good. But the story was kind of half broke. I didn't really enjoy it, and it didn't really make sense with the game at all, other than that mask character and a few other things that kind of relate to the video game. Um, yeah, Noel, I have to agree with you. This wasn't the greatest movie out there.
Yeah, no, it's and I went to watch it in theaters too, man. So I spent some money on it, and yeah, unfortunately, it didn't pay off. But I've seen worse movies. It wasn't the worst movie. It's just one of those you're gonna watch it and forget it, you know.
Yeah, I kind of dug the whole rewind thing. I dug it. The only thing that I think could have maybe saved it a little bit, and I don't know, this is me during the movie after I kind of wasn't liking it anymore. I started thinking about ways I could have fixed it, and I'm not sure, but maybe if they took all the supernatural stuff away and they went back to like a Friday the 13th part one, where it's not supernatural and everything that's happening is just somebody creating traps and doing evil shit. And then at the end, you would see this guy kind of like Scooby Doo. You pull off his mask and it's the guy from the town convenience store or whatever. I think something like that, more grounded, would have kind of helped this movie. But to be honest, I don't know. It was kind of disappointing.
Now that you mention that, I have to recommend to you Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. It's like a sequel. Those two movies are like the Groundhog Day formula mixed in with the slasher horror like Friday the 13th. But it's actually more like probably like Michael Myers or something like that. It's like this guy that hunts down and kills people, and the person that is the main character is trying to prevent the death of somebody they care about, and so they keep dying over and over and over trying to prevent it.
Nice, nice. No, that does sound interesting. I might have to Google that and check it out. But Noel, let's jump over to your conversations for the week, man. Looks like here you watched something evil yourself here. Watched Evil Lurks, a Latin horror movie.
Yeah, man, this is one of the very few movies that like messed with me. Like it actually legitimately after I finished watching it, I had to sit with it for a minute and like process it. It was nothing what I expected, but like everything that a horror fan wants to see in a good horror movie that's like it has layers upon layers. And I'm not going to go too in depth on it. I do recommend people watch it. It's not a long movie. It's an hour 40, maybe hour 30 with credits out of the way. It's came out in 2023. It is a Spanish horror movie. I believe it takes place in Argentina. So it's Argentinian Spanish, but very unique movie, man. And it kind of gives you some gut punches in there because if you relate at all with the people or if you sympathize with the people, the stuff that they go through in this whole hour and a half of a movie, it is it's wrenching, man. It's like soul crushing, and you really feel for the people because so I'm not going to go super in depth, but essentially, there's a villager that's possessed, and in the folklore or in the superstitions that they have in that village, when somebody is possessed, they have to send out somebody, not necessarily from the church. It's like a separate level from that, like a kind of like a shadow organization within the church that handles these like weird possession cases. And they typically go in, they're called cleaners. They go and clean it. They're professionals, kind of like a cleaner for a mafia, but they do it for demon possessions. And so they dispatch this guy to go and do it. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it, and later on they explain what happened to him. And so there's the villagers are trying to figure out what do we do, like the cleaner's not able to come here and this guy is going to pop any second, and if he does, all hell's going to break loose. The whole village is going to get possessed. The whole village is going to go to crap. And essentially they try their own method to get him fixed or get him help, and in doing so and disturbing his resting place or whatever where the guy is, they try to transport him, and that's when everything just all hell breaks loose. After that, they end up losing the guy. He just disappears. They don't know where he went, and then little by little the village starts to get infected. It's not quite a virus, but it acts like that, and it's like in the air almost, like kind of like the crazies. So it's like it starts affecting the village, and people start getting possessed, start committing horrible acts, and it's a bloody, gory mess. A bunch of stuff happens, and it is one of the most like gory and like gut punching movies I've ever seen, dude. And I don't see that lightly. I've seen a lot of movies with a lot of stuff, and this is the one that it had me immersed. And there's families that you get to kind of like the characters start getting built, and you start to like empathize with people, and then they get messed up, and it's just by the end of the whole thing, you almost feel like exhausted, like you went through it yourself, almost like in a weird way, like secondhand fatigue, like you just it's insane, dude. So I do highly recommend this one. Um, have you ever heard of this one, you guys?
No, no, but Latin, do you mean that it's in Latin language or
Latino, like Spanish. So like,
oh,
it's yeah, Latino
okay.
people are Argentinian.
But is it like English dubbed or no, this is all in Spanish with
It's in
subtitles?
Spanish. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Spanish.
okay.
Something.
Got it.
Maybe there's an English dub. I wouldn't have no need for that though, considering we know Spanish. So I didn't even look for it. Actually, I do have the Blu-ray. Let me take a quick look, but I believe it's just in Spanish.
So are they like practicing Santeria or something?
No, so they have like cleaners. I don't know exactly know what the cleaners do because again, the guy that was supposed to go and do that job mysteriously did not show up. You do find out what happened to him. I don't want to spoil it though. So, something happened to him on the way to do this cleaning job. I'm assuming they kill the guy or dispose of him or find a way to, dispose of the evil. Maybe like a exorcism. I'm not really sure, but unfortunately, they didn't go through the normal process, and because of that, the evil was unleashed upon the town, the village, and it's like a 0 to 100 real quick, dude. That's what happens. It's like it starts off really chill, and it's kind of weird, and it's like gross. Like the guy that's possessed is like this humongous guy, dude. Like he's got to be like 1,000 pounds, dude. And he looks like he's already a zombie. He looks all just sorts of messed up, and they're like, yeah, he's gonna pop any second, dude. Like we got to get this guy cleaned, get this guy over here, and like the possession taken care of. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the guy, so they try to transport him, and then that's when things just go to hell, and it just keeps layer upon layer, and it's just, man, some of the graphical scenes that you see, like I said, dude, I'm just like, it's insane. If this happened in real life, oh man, it's like hell on earth, dude. It's insane. Um, but yeah, I do highly recommend this one for horror fans, people that have the stomach for it, because again, it is very graphic and gory. But I think you'd like it, Daniel. I do recommend it. Andy, I'm not really sure. Are you even into horror that much?
No, but there's a couple movies I watched. Anything it's like with the where I get really freaked out as a kid when I did watch horror movies was anything with like church and demons and stuff like that. That shit freaked me out. There's a couple movies that freaked me out as a kid, The Exorcist, and the other one is I got it on Blu-ray because it was kind of a movie that came out in the 80s called The Believers.
Oh
And
yeah,
there was like
got
the
that one.
voodoo and Santeria and all this shit. And I remember watching it, and I remember it stuck to me for a long time because it freaked me the fuck out. And then like the guy with the eyes and some of the stuff, and Jimmy Smith's the cop and all that. Yeah, it was kind of fucking freaky. And I didn't see it for a long time. And I remember it was like on cable one day, and I rewatched it. I'm like, fuck, it's still kind of messed me up. So, and then I bought it on Blu-ray because it was like a limited run, and I
Hmm.
want to watch it again, but I haven't had time.
Yeah, that's a good one, dude. I
Yeah.
have that as well. Martin Sheen. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, that's a
It's
good one.
it's kind of slow, but then it really when he jumps into he helps the police or whatever in the investigation, from there it just takes the 180, and you're like, fuck this, because and then it's like Latinos and shit, and right and all this, and you're like in
Hmm.
voodoo, and I'm just like, oh fuck, like that's why it took a turn for me, and it freaked me the fuck out as a teenager.
It makes you it like distracts you too. It makes you think like the maid was trying to hurt
Mm-hmm.
the family. She's actually protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was cool, man. This one though, Evil Lurks, definitely more gory, man. Orders of magnitude more. And since you guys have families, you guys have kids, I think this one will like really affect you,
Damn. Well,
because
Scarro.
they don't hold back on anybody, young, old, doesn't matter. Everybody gets equal treatment, and it's pretty devastating, dude. It really makes you sit in that dread, and it makes you feel it. The actors did a really good job. I was shocked. I don't know any of the actors. They're relatively unknowns to me, at least. But I'm not really that, dialed into the Latin American actor scene. But anyway, I had to mention this one. It's been a long time on my list to talk about it. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that one up. That one's a good one, man. Highly recommend that. I would give that one easy 8 out of 10. Um, yeah, the acting's good. Everything's pretty good on it. Budget, all that.
Nice.
But let's move it to something a little lighthearted here. I finally got around to seeing Cobra Kai, the final season. Um, I had kind of taken a little break from it because uh, they've had 5 seasons and then they took breaks, hiatuses throughout. And season 6, there was like a pretty decent hiatus from 5 to 6. So I was like, let me just wait. They were going to release it in like 2 or 3 parts. I'm like, let me wait until it's all completely done and watch it. And then I also watched the movie that came out after that. So, Cobra Kai, have you guys watched that at all, or do you know of it?
Yeah, for me, I've watched everything just like you mentioned, the 5 seasons. I have not seen this last season. I don't know. I don't know if I got burnt out because I watched like season 4 and 5 like back to back. So when season 6 came out, I wasn't too interested. It's to me, it seemed like season 5 ended in a good spot. So I really didn't know where else they were going to take it. But is it worth a watch?
100%. Actually, random question. Did you guys ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, it was too much, too Englishy and too there's too many characters, man. I needed like a dictionary to see who all these characters were.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, dude. The reason I ask that is because a lot of the people that watch that show, up until a certain point, it was really good, and then it just kind of went on a nosedive off a cliff. But Cobra Kai is unique in that the sixth season, I think, is one of their strongest seasons,
Wow.
and it like wraps everything up really nicely. You get resolution for a lot of different arcs, which you normally don't get. Sometimes there's like things that are unresolved. You're like, oh, I wonder, are these people going to be together, or is this going to happen? Are they going to accomplish their dreams or whatever? Everything that you had questions about is pretty much answered in this season, and it's like the final, like it's like the nail in the coffin. That's it. But it's done in a very cool way. They actually went all out with the music too, man. Like they must have spent a good amount of money on that music budget. The soundtrack is like on point, dude. If you grew up in the 80s, like you're gonna love this, man. So 80s and 90s, I'd say. But yeah, Cobra Kai, season 6, 15 episodes, 30-minute episodes each. So yeah, it's 100% worth it. I do recommend you watch it. I would say season 6, Cobra Kai, is better than the movie Karate Kid Legends. I don't know. Have you guys seen that one yet?
They made another Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, with Jackie
Yeah.
Chan. To me, this looked even worse than what I wanted to see season 6. To me, I'm like, man, what is Daniel LaRusso doing, man? This
Oh, he's in it too. Fucking
Yeah,
Larusso. Oh.
it's him, Jackie Chan, and some Asian kid, and I'm like, oh man, this does not look good.
So yeah, so with this movie, I ended up watching it. I actually watched that before season 6 Cobra Kai, and I'm glad I did that. Um Cobra Kai is definitely the note you want to end on, not Karate Kid Legends. Although at the end of Karate Kid Legends, there's a scene, I don't know if it's post credit, but it's like essentially like the very last thing of the movie where Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence are together and they're like talking about stuff. And it's a cool way to wrap up the movie. But I would say the movie is like 6 out of 10, and that's being pretty generous
Sounds
because
like
I'm
to
a
me like you're
Karate
being
Kid fan.
generous. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me
Yeah,
sounds like you're a Karate Kid fan and you're trying to make it sound good.
yeah, it wasn't the worst movie or nothing. It's just it didn't draw my attention that well because you could tell it's like for a different audience. It's like a younger audience. It's not me. It's not the Karate Kid OG fans. It's like trying to bring in those people and their children that are gonna grow up with this new Karate Kid. Because it's a young kid. He's from Beijing, Jackie Chan's nephew or something like that, and Jackie Chan is training him, but his mother, the kid's mother, wants to take him away from that, move to New York. He moves to New York, and then she wants him to be away from karate, but unfortunately, they're gonna have to make it work. So they give him a reason to be in a tournament, give him a reason to need to be trained, and his kung fu is not working as good as it used to. So they have to get somebody else to train him, and that's where Daniel LaRusso comes in. He's honestly only in it for like 15, 20 minutes at most. Um, it was towards the end you see Daniel LaRusso, so it's mainly focused on Jackie Chan and this young kid. Um, Actually, mainly focused on the young kid because Jackie Chan's also towards the end. But anyway, long story short, it's one of those movies like if you like karate and stuff, you like Karate Kid, and you have some time, it's a popcorn flick, 6 out of 10. Not the worst movie, not the best movie. It's forgettable, but it's still better than the one with Will Smith's kid. I'll say that much. So at least it's a step above that. But Cobra Kai, long story short, finish off on that note. You'll be pleased.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a shot. I wasn't really too sold on it, but it sounds like it does end on a good note, so might have to go check it out.
For sure, man. It's one of those things about nostalgia. Cobra Kai fills that, and it it made me feel like a kid again. So that it's one of those when it makes you feel something, it's worth watching. It's accomplishing what it set out to do. But yeah,
And
that's pretty much.
I was just gonna say, and it's funny because the rest of the Karate Kid seasons were good, So I'm not sure why I was just kind of soured on watching the last one. Maybe I just got burnt out at the end. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to watch it.
Yeah, and it's a quick watch, man. Honestly, it's 30-minute episodes a piece usually, so I got it done in a couple days, and I was excited, man. I was excited to get home from work and watch a couple episodes. It was fun. Obviously the acting is good, but it's not Oscar worthy, and the choreography is good enough. But they're kids. You could tell they're actors that were trained how to fight, not fighters trained how to act. So it's good enough to believe it. But yeah, ultimately I watched it for the nostalgia, and it actually had the quality was there enough. But yeah, that sums up my week right there. Speaking of nostalgia and some unfortunate news, let's move it over to Andy here. Let's talk about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, man. So, by the time this episode drops, I think has been he has passed away, and it's probably gonna be like 2 weeks or so, just maybe over 2 weeks. So yeah, man. I don't know. A lot of people knew what was going on. I was listening to his old friend Bubba the Love Sponge, the guy that Hogan had relations with his wife, and he was spilling all this stuff that Hogan wasn't in good shape, and his Hogan's camp wasn't really saying much, and he was coming up with some stuff, and unfortunately, he was right, man. He was saying that he was getting like some neck fusion surgery or something, and there was complications, and they got him on a ventilator. He was giving an update for like 2 weeks, and then it was kind of really bad. I was like, oh shit. And then the week before he died, or that week, uh earlier in the week, he came out with a new update saying that they moved Hogan out of the hospital. They moved him to his house. And he was saying all this stuff that the people that were telling him that they did everything they could for him. There was concerns about his when he was going through all his stuff about oxygen. He wasn't breathing because they were saying he was in a ventilator. That he couldn't talk. They did something with his trach. They nicked it. They got him somewhat stable, and then they put him home. And then, like a couple of days later, he passed away, or they're saying he had a cardiac arrest. So I don't know. There was like a lot of conflicting report, and then his wife, I think a couple of days before that, put out a statement that he did have a procedure and his heart is strong and all this. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, there's some shit going on. When they come out and say everything's cool, don't worry, he's home. I'm like, it's always like the worst shit because Hogan has like a very uh active. He's active on social media. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And his wife just posted that. I'm just like, oh man. And then yeah, but he passed away Thursday. Uh, uh, and I think Danny texted. We're in a group text. He said he texted something, and then yeah, all the outpouring came out, and then like always, there's controversy and shit like that, and you know. But for me, just bear with me here. Hogan, I grew up watching Hogan a lot. My dad would watch him with me, and he impacted a lot of people. Yeah, later in his life, he ran into some issues after his divorce. The whole racist thing, say what you will. He apologized for that, but that recording of him with the audio is just like, yeah, he was canceled basically for a while, and then he regrouped, he apologized, he did a couple things, he was making appearances, stuff like that. And Hogan made a big impact on my life from the 80s. And then as you get older, you get interested into other stuff. And then when he came back to WCW in the '90s, he made another big impact when he turned heel. That whole NWO run. Um, he's one of the greatest up there, and a lot of people to this day shit on him, because of his politics and his wrestling, and and it's just like Hogan. I saw this recent thing on he was on um Impulsive, that podcast, one of the guy wrestling Logan podcast, and he was talking about like wrestling's shoot. It's a shoot. Everything's a shoot. It's not a work. And what he meant by that, it's about all I know. He goes, what the shoot is when you're winning, you make more money, and when you're a good guy, you're sure you sell more merchandise. So he goes, I knew right away that it's a shoot business, and I am not, and I'm not gonna lose because I want to make the most amount of money. And the whole old meme thing that doesn't work for me, brother. It's a meme for the last couple years. But you named it. Hogan beat them all, and a lot of people didn't agree with that. But I'll give you this: he had some big pops. He did put people over. I mean, he put Ultimate Warrior. I remember the build up to that. I'm like, there's no way Hogan's gonna lose. I'm like, he's gonna have both belts. I've never seen that, the IC, and he fucking lost, and I couldn't believe it. And then the thing to Goldberg in a Nitro wasn't even on pay-per-view, right? He lost to them. I thought he wasn't gonna lose. He did. And then he had another run, and then he came back to WWE, and we were watching WrestleMania 17, and that pop he got in Montreal, and you're thinking like, dang, he's gonna pull it off, and he lost, and then he had another decent run after that. So this whole thing, where Hogan didn't want to work with people, he had creative control, he used it, but he knew when it was the right time to lose, and he's always thinking business, and you always say, what's next? What's next? And if it made sense, he would do what's right for business and right for himself. So I can't never knock him for that, And the other thing is, like, they always tell you, don't meet your heroes. All three of us went to that book signing a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember. And he was patient with us when they were trying to rush us. We were trying to take pictures, and he told the lady, like, hey, slow down. They want to take a picture and all that. And he was a good guy, and he waited for us to take that great picture we all three of us got. And I know at other places they would have been like, here, snap, get the fuck out of here. But Hogan, he told that lady to slow down. I don't know if you guys remember that. No, I think it was in Aurora.
Yeah, I remember, man. I was only like 13, I think. And I remember you even got to talk to, who was it? Jimmy Hart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a little back and forth. You were asking him some stuff, and it was cool, man. Real cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, Andy, I do remember that, and I still have the picture of all three of us hanging out. And I remember we got two pictures. We got the one that you mentioned, where the lady or the guy was kind of rushing us through, and it was just like next, next, next. And I remember I was really disappointed because the picture, we didn't even like pose. We were still kind of like setting up, and then it was just like click, all right, next. And it's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he did it just like Hulk Hogan would do. He's like, hey, wait a minute, brother. He's like, these guys want to take a picture. He's like, slow down a second. And then,
I didn't even look up. Yeah. Like, I'm signing here. Yeah.
And then we organized, we got next to him, and then he just posed, and boom, we got our picture, and it was great. He was always a stand-up guy, and we met him a few other times after that. And then we went to tons of his live shows. We went to that one in Chicago right before the Montreal match with The Rock, where he rode the semi and busted it out.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah.
Yeah, at that United Center, which was something totally different for WWF, because usually we would go see him at the Allstate Arena, because that's usually where WCW would run. So that was awesome, just to go see him there and just watch the entire crowd pop for Hogan coming out. He was really a baby face, even though he was the bad guy. He would still get that baby face pop, and it was just really crazy. It was great to be his fan, and I know we got tons of memorabilia of him, or at least I do. I'm not sure if Andy still got his stuff, but yeah, like you mentioned, Andy, the Ultimate Warrior, that was a great time in wrestling. I remember Noel and mostly Saul was a big Ultimate Warrior fan, and they were like really into him. So that when that pay per view came out, it was one of the few times that my dad got paid for the pay per view for us. And Saul was all decked out, Ultimate Warrior. I was all decked out on Hogan, and it was like watching it, and I just couldn't believe it when Hogan dropped the belt, and it was just crazy. It was like pandemonium happening in the Corral household. So, yeah, it was definitely a lot of good memories with Hogan. Um, I think he had a few demons and a few things. Just like everybody, sometimes you do what you think is best for yourself, and maybe that impacts other people in a negative way. But ultimately, I think everybody is kind of a little bit like that, so I can't hate him too much for that. But yeah, I think he kind of fell off of it a little bit at the end. Even though to me, I was a super fan and I always really dug him. I think WWE did him kind of wrong on the last showing that he had, the last
Yeah.
one, at least when he was alive, because they were booing him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was in business for himself at that point. He was trying to sell his beer. He was trying to come out and promote it more, and he had already promoted like once or twice before. So I think the fans were just kind of done with it at that point. Um, so yeah, it's kind of sad that that was his last WWE showing. And like you said, there's still a lot of unknowns as far as what happened. I think more is going to be known as time goes on. But yeah, it's sad to see him. I actually went to church today and I was wearing my Hogan shirt, and yeah, there was a guy that stopped me and he's just like, yeah, it's sad to see Hogan, and we talked for a minute about Hogan. So yeah, he impacted a ton of people. And the guy at church even brought up how he's a reborn Christian, and he, started really pushing his, new road towards, being closer to God. So yeah, I'm glad he was able to right some wrongs, correct some relationships. It sounds like he still had issues with his daughter, so I'm not sure if that relationship was still kind of broken and he didn't get a chance to fix that. So, sorry for that. But yeah, man, great wrestler, great childhood icon, and yeah, he's gonna be missed, man. Right now, what's cool, Andy, I don't know if you noticed, but on YouTube, WWF has got a 24-hour or a marathon that's been going on for like 2, 3 days
The
now.
live stream.
The live
Yeah.
stream, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've been having it on the background, just watching
Yeah.
some awesome Hogan matches, and it's been really,
They,
really cool.
I was watching it on Friday. Just real quick. They had the Saturday night's main event, Hogan versus Bossman in that blue steel cage.
Oh
And
yeah,
did you
yeah.
see he fucking suplexed him from the top of that fucking the blue ring? I completely forgot about that.
No,
He like just
I was watching the Bundy one last
yeah,
night,
yeah.
WrestleMania 2, and it was that blue cage, like you said, and that was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was like you said in the background, and they were doing like old Hogan, then they go to WCW, and then they go to WWE, and then they go to WCW. They're going back and forth, and
It,
yeah,
it,
like
it,
I said, it was pretty cool. I haven't, I mean, you watch clips, you have memories of what you, but you watch some stuff like that, and I haven't seen it in a while. I was just like, damn, like it's a long time ago,
yeah, like
and
I don't remember that. And another one that I didn't remember that I was watching this morning, where allegedly he changed back to the red and yellow, and he tag team with Goldberg and Sting for a three-way against Nash and
WCW.
WCW. And I was
Yeah,
just like, man, I don't remember this churn. And I'm like, I'm assuming he churned back to Hollywood and he double crossed
so
them somehow. But I didn't remember that storyline at all. And it
yeah,
got me interesting into finding more matches to see what happened after that.
so I
That
think WCW went off in 2001, right?
okay.
Um, but in the Bash of the Beach where they did the Dark Side, just real quick, he did the when he was gonna fight. Jeff Jarrett, he was doing the Hollywood Hogan gimmick, but he was like the good guy. And before that, he did this run where he went to the red and yellow, and
Right.
it wasn't really like working. And then I think somewhere he's like, I gotta go back to Hollywood, and he did that when Vince Russo was in charge, and then that whole fiasco where this is why we're in this situation because of shit like this lawsuit and all that, and that he was as Hollywood Hogan at that match because I don't remember if that was when he switched over for that particular or he already started doing it, but yeah, he was like going he did the red and yellow for a while and then he went back to Hollywood, and then I think that was like his last WCW appearance was that,
Yeah,
and
I do kind of remember that because he wasn't there at the very, very end.
no,
By the very end, that he was off the air for a
yeah.
couple weeks.
Yeah, and and seeing all the stuff on the social media and the outpouring of love, and yeah, there was a lot of hatred too, and other retro channels and people I follow, a lot of them posted stuff from the '80s. They did this NES game, I think WrestleMania Challenge or Superstar Challenge, and then they're like, "That's it! Like everybody in this cover is gone," and it had Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, Macho Man, and uh, I think Big Boss Man or something. It was five of them. Hogan was in the middle, of course, right? And then he goes, "That's it." He's like, everybody else here died in their 40s and early 50s, and Hogan made it to 70. And it's and the way he got everything, he knew he was important to the business because everybody acknowledged it. UFC acknowledged it. He was on Fox News, all the news, the Sports Center, like everybody. I saw the thing on Fox News and said like breaking news, like they cut in and they stated, Hogan passed away, so he was an important person to
Even the president of
America.
the
The
United States
president,
did.
yeah, yeah. Trump posted something about him. Um, yeah, so it's he was an important thing to America and pop culture, and it's the last of it. I'm trying to think who's up there with him after him. Stone Cold was important, but his run was kind of short, just in the WWF. Hogan had it in two companies, and he came back. The Rock, yeah, he's up there, but I think now he's more recognized for movies and stuff, and then wrestling. Yeah, he comes and does wrestling part time. He made me better. He was a better businessman than Hogan. Um, I don't know. And like you think of some of the people now. Shawn Michaels, is he up there? I don't think so. Triple H, maybe. I don't know, but he wasn't nowhere near as known as Hogan. Cena, maybe. Cena's right up there. He has a shot, I think, in his final run here. Even Vince broke his social media silence to say something about Hogan. So he recognized Hogan made him a fucking billionaire, you know, off his back, and Hogan always said like all his back issues. He shrunk like 2-3 inches. I think he said that on Joe Rogan too, because they kept shaving off pieces of his spine or something so it wouldn't be compressing or something. And his back was just jacked up, and he said it was all from the leg drop, all the falls when he would take land on those leg drops, and just bones just smashing up against each other. And uh yeah, man, it took a toll. And one of the things I did see just before we switch, lighten it up here a little bit, his daughter Brooke, I know they were estranged. There was all this stuff going around, and she did say that she did try to tell him 2-3 years ago that like you need to slow it down. You're like you don't need to be doing all this. And Eric Bischoff kind of mentioned that too, that Hogan didn't just want to stay and relax. He was always working and traveling, hitting the road, autograph signings, selling the beer, doing some of the restaurant stuff, doing appearances for WWE, stuff like that, interviews, promotion, this new wrestling free the Olympic wrestling thing he's doing. And people were telling him to try to slow it down, but Bischoff said he would never do that. Like that's not the type of person he is, and he was always working, and he was never gonna slow down because he says he doesn't want to miss anything or an opportunity for him to where it's a business opportunity that he wants to take full advantage of. So that being said, like yeah, man, Hogan will be missed. I know some people on Facebook posted. I know his one of his biggest fans was here from Chicago, Say Romania. I think he kind of hit him hard today. He's really been posting a lot about him, writing stuff, because he did a documentary with him. He was on Fox News. He was in WWE Magazine. I think he was even in the Hogan Still Rules DVD. He was on Confidential, and he did a lot with Hogan. He went to even live with him a while to help him with his parents, and that's the first person I thought of. Like, I want to see what he says because he was trying to dispel some of the stuff. Keep Hogan in your prayers, but don't believe all this stuff. And then this happened. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think about Hogan. You love, hate, whatever. ffnquestions@gmail.com. Uh, it was kind of hard the first day. I was kind of shell shocked, but I mean, what are you gonna do? It's just it sucks. I think part of it is I did watch a lot of wrestling with my dad, so yeah, that's why it kind of hit harder. But with that being said, let's change it up, man. We're gonna go into our article of the week. So I caught this. This is my article, and I was I really didn't know much of it. Apparently, Trump wants to build he's calling it the Golden Dome over the U.S. as a missile shield. And with the thing that caught, okay, so I'm like, that's cool, right? It's something like Israel has, but the person he has who's going to be in charge of putting this in is the Space Force. So my instincts are like, what, fucking aliens are going to come and attack us or some shit? So the U.S. Senate has approved General Mike Guillotine to oversee President Trump's national missile defense system known as the Golden Dome. The Pentagon announced Tuesday that Guillotine has cleared the final hurdle to leading the Office of Golden Dome for America, which will work with industry, higher education, national labs, and other government agencies to develop the high-tech missile shield. It will be similar to Israel's Iron Dome, but is intended to modernize the United States defenses from threats from Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. The missile shield will be designed for ballistic hypersonic, that's to me a key one, and advanced cruise missiles and other large-scale attacks. Guillotine is a Space Force general who serves as the Vice Chief of Space Operations for the Military Service Branch. Building the Golden Dome will require cooperation between multiple government agencies as the private industry, he said, and the difference in organizational behavior and culture as the project's biggest challenges, which he said can be overcome by having an empowered and well-resourced agency to charge that has support of policymakers. Real quick, the tab on this Golden Dome is $175 billion. And he said it will be fully operational by the end of this term, President Trump's term. So that's a big undertaking there. I don't know what you guys thought about that or you even knew about it. There was already stuff coming out that why is the Space Force doing that? The conspiracy people came out. And then this got announced that the Space Force was going to take it over on July 22nd. And then yesterday, I think on Friday, there was something trending on Twitter that somebody from Harvard said that the U.S. is going to be attacked or there's going to be some type of threat from outer space in November. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that. So my question to you is, yeah, I think we do need this, but the only thing I raise my night is, why is the Space Force dealing with it? Why isn't like the Air Force or even the Navy in charge of that? That's my only thing.
Yeah, to me, the one thing I noticed is the article made mention that we already have certain defense stuff put up for defending the country. But what happened last year or the year before when we were getting all those UPAs over
Yeah,
Seattle and
yeah.
over New York? How come there was all these things and there was no defense against it? To me, I thought that was kind of odd. I would assume the U.S. has something to defend itself, but after what happened last year and the year before, I think they were kind of lax in it. Now, I don't know if that was just I can't remember if that was Biden's term or Trump's term, but yeah, man, to me,
The balloons was under Biden.
it was under Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's like, man, I don't know what you were doing where you didn't have that defense on point. But yeah, man, this defense stuff goes back, and the article even makes mention all the way back to Ronald Reagan and the Star Wars program.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like this is necessary. The Dome is what protects Israel from everybody around them because basically everybody in all their corners, everybody that surrounds them hates them, so they need something to protect themselves. The U.S., I don't think people hate us as much, but people definitely
No.
don't like us as much. So we definitely need something to protect ourselves in case there's just one guy that just kind of loses it and wants to kind of attack us. So I think stuff like this is necessary. Defend yourself so you could defend all this country because there are a handful of people that just don't like us.
Yeah, man, we need Hogan, bro. He fucked up and ran with the Sheik, and then he fucked off Nikolai Volkov, the Russians. And he fucked up Japan too a couple times. So with the I can't think of his name, but uh, yeah, I mean the with their Star Wars under Reagan, they got something from that, if I remember correctly. I remember reading it around Bush that they got something for intercontinental nukes if they come from Russia. They do have something, but it's been going on since the 80s. And the key term I kept saying was hypersonic, and that's what the Iron Dome was struggling with in Israel because those are really fast missiles. Um, so again, and you brought up a great point. The UAPs, Danny, under Biden, assuming they started in the West Coast, right, and they traveled all across the country, and then they shot it down in the Atlantic because we don't want to fuck up anybody's house or something. Was the excuse that they let it transmit all this data and go through it? And then there was one in Canada that they shot down allegedly, and then they shot it down in a remote area and they couldn't find it. Um, so to me, when you see shit like that, either they allow it, they know what it is, or we're just ill prepared, right? That's like my whole thing. I used to think we were prepared for anything, and I think we weren't. And I remember for 9/11, when we got the planes hijacked, they had this system set up for we were attacked or something, and they were doing stuff that was like designed in the 70s, like Cold War stuff. They were sending jets out to the ocean and all this goofy shit. And then they're like, why did you do that? It's just something that was implemented if we've been doing it. So, but if the planes were nowhere near the ocean, they were all hijacked. Like, it took them a while to like get to fly and intercept whatever, the people they're speculating there was another flight and all this shit. And the Pentagon one and all that, and then the one in Pennsylvania that got shot or went down allegedly. Some people say it got shot down. Um, uh, but it was not planned. It was like reactionary, from my understanding. Um, So sometimes I think we're not as prepared. Maybe we are for the nukes because that was a big thing growing up in the 80s. So I think they're a little bit more prepared for that. But like stuff like the hijacking and missiles and fucking apparently balloons, they struggle at that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, Noel. Do you think this is a good way to spend our money, the government's money?
You know, it's kind of over my head, man. When I was reading the article, I'm just like, that's a lot of freaking money, but maybe it's necessary, with the kind of enemies that the US has been making. And we already know that there's other stuff going on that we're not all privy to. Yeah, it might be necessary to protect us, but I don't know. That's a lot of money, man.
So
It's yeah.
again, I mean, in my world, my conspiracies, UFO, alien shit. So for the last about 2 years, there's been all this stuff trickling out that there's ships coming to Earth and they spotted things. And I remember like in late 2023, there was the Hubble, this stuff got leaked out that the Hubble recorded this mass ships coming or something to Earth, and the way they're traveling, it would be here in about 2 years. So next year would be 2 years, and then Trump would be what in the second year already, or yeah. So uh, and then now you read this week. This week we had Harvard professor come out and say, or something like that, that he thinks there might be some type of alien threat or something in November, which was just like very fucking random. This was like in the New York Post and other. It wasn't like a blog or anything or one of those TikTok videos. This was like actual like news outlets reporting this. Um, so it just makes me wonder like what the fuck is going on. Uh, and again, it's just like maybe they're preparing for something we don't know. Hopefully not. It's just they want to get this shit up as another like it's a strategic move to protect to offer something like you want to fuck us up, try when we got a fucking dome, we'll fucking nuke you and you can't stop it type of shit, you know? Strength through peace to peace or whatever. And yeah, man, you just gotta read between the lines like always. And this whole thing with, Trump going after Obama and the Clintons again, I'm gonna arrest them. So you never know, man. Like maybe he thinks somebody will retaliate, some other country or something. I don't know. It's just like a lot of shit going on, a lot of in the world times, and you gotta be like, looking into it. And to me, I don't see it as a waste of money. I think it's needed, but like always, why? My thing is why, and just the usual like bad guys. Oh, China and Russia and Iran. So that's just been going on forever. We were told the Cold War has ended, and here we are still fucking dealing with the Russians, and all that just started after World War II, and we supposedly defeated them in the 90s. And then again, Russia's the bad guy, and now it's now with Eastern Europe. Now they're the bad guys with the Chinese and Iran and the Koreans. Whenever you really want to make it nasty, throw in Kim Jong Un in Korea and just be like, oh, he's shooting nukes again. He's shooting shit into the ocean, and all this. Then it gets everybody all worked up.
No, for sure. I definitely think that it's something that's good. It's good to be defensive. I'd rather hear that than we're building more nukes to try to scare people. So defensive, I don't like spending that much amount of money, but definitely it's a better plan than building up your offense, at least in my opinion.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, it's the opposite is just building more nukes, but that yeah, I mean it's that's outdated, dude. Like I don't know, you gotta come up with some new shit, and that's what part of Trump firing all these people is because there's people in there that old timers been there since like late 80s, and they're still following shit from stuff that was set up after World War II and the Cold War. and we got new threats. So, and after 9/11, you think they would have changed it up some, but what I'm seeing is just it's the same shit like always.
No, yeah, 100%. But yes, the debate will go on, and Andy, the debate right now between us, it's over, man. We'd like to thank you all for listening. Remember to follow Freeform Network on Facebook and X at Freeform Network. Send in those questions, ffnquestions@gmail.com. We really appreciate it. Love hearing from you guys. Visit our webpage at freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There you're going to see all the links for all the podcast providers. Hit that like and subscribe, whatever you're using. It really does help the numbers. It sounds kind of trivial, but it really does help. And Andy notices it in the algorithms. But yeah, for Freeform Radio, we got Noel.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I'm going to find a movie to watch to review for the next one.
Nice. And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy. And, hope everybody has a good week. And let us know if you have any Hogan memories at ffnquestions@gmail.com.
Yes, sir, for sure. It's Daniel. Great memories from Hogan. Gonna miss the guy. So yeah, like Andy mentions, drop in those memories on ffnquestions@gmail.com. We could read a few of them in our next pod. But for Freeform Radio, that's all. We'll catch you on the next one.
That was cool, Dad.